In classes this week, we've been exploring the theme of our inner magic, our intuition, and our inner knowing, using the third eye as our inspiration and also stoking our inner fire, doing a little bit of core work. So this is a 20-minute class that I taught online in my sunrise stretch yoga classes. These are available on Zoom every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 a.m. UK time. So you're more than welcome to join me. It's donation based, just pay whatever feels right for you. You can also catch the replay for £10 a month, and there is a huge library full of classes like these. So we have 20 minutes of movement followed by 10 minutes of meditation, and from time to time we'll throw in something a little bit different like some laughter yoga or some face yoga. So enjoy this 20-minute class. Let me know how it goes for you. Pop a message down in the comments, and hopefully see you live on Zoom sometime soon. Bye. Start in a variation of child's pose. If you've got a block handy or something hard like a book or something, then that might come in handy today. So we're going to have, instead of having the big toes together, the knees out wide, we're going to bring the knees a little bit closer so everything's in hip distance. And then if you might not need the block if your head reaches the floor, you can just rest down on the floor. So from here we'll lengthen out of the low back and start to really round forwards, dipping the chin in so we make sure that the back of the neck is in line with the rest of the spine. And then just pop your block underneath the forehead. And like I say, you might be able to reach the floor here, but for me it's more comfortable with the block. And you can turn your block to different heights as well, of course. And then the arms can just rest at the sides, so your hands can be either side of the block if that's comfortable. You can reach them out forwards just gently, so we're not stretching forwards here. Or you can maybe take them back towards the heels, and your palms will face the ceiling or the sky if you do that. And the shoulders will round forwards just a little bit more. So just taking a few breaths here, just connecting to our space, feeling into the physical body, becoming aware of any areas of tension, and just breathing into them, allowing them to be. And then bringing your focus to this space in between the eyebrows, the third eye, your inner knowing. And then maybe recognizing that we have this magic inside of us, this intuition, and we really do know exactly what we need to do in any given situation, but we don't always listen to it. And sometimes that's because of a lack of confidence. And our confidence comes from our belly. So as we're here, just for a few more breaths, gently keeping this focus on the third eye space, but breathing deeply into the belly. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose if that's comfortable. And really allowing the belly to expand, probably feeling it against the thighs here. Stoking that inner fire, really good for our digestive system first thing in the morning too. Just a couple more breaths here. And then one more big breath in. On your next inhale, fill all the way up. Even feel the rib cage expand sideways, the back expand outwards behind you. And exhale out of the mouth with a big sigh. And then if the hands are behind, just bring them underneath the shoulders, using them for support to come up into a tabletop position. You can just slide your block out of the way for a moment if you've got one, or like I say, a book is just fine too. Make sure you're not going to kick your coffee. And then spread the fingers wide, index fingers straight ahead. We'll take some cat-cows here. So inhale, belly down, chest forwards. So just moving through our normal cat-cow. Exhale around through the spine, draw the belly button in. Inhale, belly down, chest forwards. Taking it nice and easy these first few rounds, maybe the first little bit of movement today. It is for me. And then perhaps tuning into our intuition here. So in this safe space, it's a nice place to explore what happens when you follow your intuition. So maybe just pausing along the way, swaying side to side, or move in the shoulders. You might want to look back over one shoulder and the other. So just following your instincts here. What does your body need? It's your choice. Nice. And then coming into our regular cat pose, so rounding through the spine, we're making our way into downward facing dog. Really pressing into the hands, tuck the toes under, big breath in. And as you exhale, lift the knees, lift the hips. So the arms are super strong here, pressing into the index fingers, the base of the index finger and the thumb. And then pressing into the tips of all of the fingers. And then wrap the armpits around the front of the body towards each other. You can really lift and push into the hands, so the shoulders might lift towards the ears here. That's absolutely fine. And then lift those hips even higher. And now find a little bit of intuitive movement here. So maybe you bend one knee, moving the hips side to side. And if this is a bit much, of course, you can also choose to come back down to a child's pose or to that cat-cow. And if you're just joining us live, then welcome. So just moving intuitively. Maybe that means moving in a slightly different way to normal in this down dog. Maybe you really bend your knees, have a little wiggle. And then when you're ready, we're just going to tiptoe our way to the top of the mat. So take your time coming up to a forward fold at the front of your mat. Big bend in the knees here, just let the head be heavy. Chin is tucking in gently towards the chest. And really focusing on length through the spine here. So we'll probably feel the stretch through the calves, the hamstrings, maybe through the glutes. But we don't want to feel it too deeply or too strongly in the legs. And if we do, just take a little bit more of a bend. And then again here, moving intuitively. So maybe just swaying the hips side to side. You might want to hold on to the elbows. You might nod the head, yes, shaking it, no. Or maybe just swaying the arms side to side like you're drawing a rainbow on the floor with your fingertips. So we're not worrying about what we look like, whether we look like anybody else, or even how we think this pose should look like today. Really focusing on our intuition and what we feel is right. And that'll be different for you, for me, for anybody else. Okay, then coming back to some stillness in the centre of your mat. Just check where your weight is in your feet. So we want the weight evenly balanced between the balls of the feet and the heels. And then press really firmly. We're going to roll our way up to stand. Keep the chin tucked in. Pressing firmly into the legs. And taking your time to get there. And just notice how you feel. So maybe close the eyes for a moment. And if you could move in any way right now to feel a little bit better in your body, how would you move? And maybe you take that movement. So maybe you have a little circle of the hips or a little stretch. So what do you feel that you need right now? So feel free to just take a few breaths here, just moving intuitively. Don't need to follow me. Maybe it's a slow, lazy stretch. Or maybe you want to have a little shake. What feels good? Nice. Okay, and then because it is almost Halloween, we're going to embrace our inner goddess and first come into our big star pose. So spread the fingers nice and wide. Toes are turned out here at a diagonal. And then take a big breath in. As we exhale, sink into the knees, pressing the knees out towards the little toes, and then bring the elbows down so they're just about in line with the shoulders. Good. And then inhale back up, nice and strong. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades down, coming down into our goddess. Palms can face your face here, face your face. Inhale up. Exhale down, strong goddess pose. Inhale up. And exhale down. Last one, inhaling up. And then this time, just bring the hands down, turn the feet so they're facing straight ahead and the hands to the hips. And then just bend one knee at a time. So again, just moving side to side, however feels good for you. You might even want to lean forward slightly, sending the hips back a bit more. You could bring the hands towards the floor or a chair, a wall. Maybe linger in one side more than the other. Good, and then from here we're just going to turn to the front of our mat. So you might need some blocks or something for support here. We're going to come into our low lunge pose. So picking up that back heel, toes of both feet facing the small edge of your mat, and then let that back knee come down. If you've got blocks, you can bring them underneath your hands here to give yourself a little bit more space. And then just gently sinking into that front hip. And if you feel like it, you could always keep the toes tucked under and lift that back knee, making it a little bit stronger. So again, really just tuning in with what do you need today? Do you need to take it really nice and easy, just softening into the pose? Or do you need a little bit more energy? Good. And if the knee is lifted, just let it come back down. We're going to take our front foot out to the right side of your mat a little bit. So toes turn out to a 45-degree angle, coming into our lizard pose. Can you see my foot there? Probably not. So I've just widened the stance. So your toes are out at a 45-degree angle. Again, you can keep your hands on your blocks here. Just getting into the hips in a slightly different way. Breathing deeply into the belly. Good. I've got a very noisy bird right outside my window. I don't know if you can hear that. Maybe it's a big black Halloween crow. Okay, and then from here, just send the hips back slightly. And we're going to bring that foot back towards centre and then keep going all the way across and come into our half pigeon pose. So your right foot is coming towards the left side of the mat. And then just let that shin come on down. And I like to tuck my back toes, pick up the knee and then create space. So just find where that leg needs to be to get comfortable in the hips. And then you might find that your right hip is still lifted. So if that's the case, pop a cushion or your block underneath that so that your hip bones are fairly parallel to the ground. And again, you can choose where you want to be here. So you can stay upright. You could come down if you've got a bolster or something. That's nice here. You could bring the elbows to the floor and then again, tune into this third eye space. Maybe just rest your forehead on your palms. Or if you've got a bolster, you could have both elbows on the bolster and make prayer hands with the thumbs against your third eye. Just taking a few breaths here. And then using the hands for support, bringing yourself back upright. Just sliding that block out of the way or whatever you had there. And if there was something under your hip, just moving that out from the side. We're going to roll onto that front hip and come into a seated position before we do the other side. So keep your right foot tucked in and bring the left leg over in front into a cross-legged position. You can sit up on a cushion or a bolster, whatever you need to here as well. So from here, we're going to take some Sufi grinds. So bringing the hands to the knees, we'll take our bodies over to the side, coming forwards, over to the other side, and then round in through the back. So we're making a big circle with the belly button around the pelvis, and you can make these as slow or as quick as you like. So again, just moving intuitively, building a little bit of heat through the belly. And if you want to coordinate your breath with this, as you come forwards, we'll inhale here. So we're almost in that cow pose position, extending the spine, and then exhale, pulling the belly button in, rounding through the spine. And then just change in direction when you're ready. Nice. The dogs like this one. And then next time you come forwards, we're going to pause there and then roll that way back up. Ha. Okay, just switch the cross of the legs, bring the other leg in front, and we're just going to do a very quick little clock eyes before we do the other side. I haven't forgotten the other leg, don't worry. So from here, just look all the way up with the eyes, look over to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, down to 4, 5, all the way down to the nose. And then all the way back up, and then change direction. Feeling the muscles in the eyes starting to wake up. And when you come to the top, just closing the eyes for a moment, coming back to the breath. Lovely. Okay, so we'll come into our downward dog one more time to set up for that little lunge on the other side. So from your tabletop position, rounding through the spine into our cat pose. Tucking the toes under, nice strong arms as we lift the hips, maybe noticing that we feel a little bit more open now. Maybe not, it's okay too. And then this time we're going to step the left leg forward. So big step forwards. If this is too much, you can always bring that back knee down first and then just adjust the foot when you get there. And then bring your blocks again underneath your hands if you've got them. And maybe you don't need the blocks. Broaden through the collarbones and just sinking into the hips. We don't want to go as deep as we possibly can here, so just finding a nice stretch, somewhere that feels good. Maybe just moving the hips side to side. And then coming into our lizard pose. So you'll take your left foot out to the side. So we're making a wider stance. Toes go out to the diagonal. And you can bring your blocks, if you're using them, to the inside of the foot this time. And again, just sinking down here and really allowing that knee to move out to the side if that feels good. So coming out of the pose a little bit just gives you a little bit more space to explore. Good. And then when you're ready, we're going to walk that foot all the way across and find our pigeon pose. So your left foot comes over to the right side of the mat, and I like to bring my foot quite far down so it comes towards the hip rather than have it out in front of me. So you'll see people teaching this all different ways, but that knee when it's closed is just a little bit more stable. So again, finding space here, maybe tucking the back toes under to lengthen through that back leg. And if you find that your hip is lifted on the left side, like mine is here, just pop a block underneath it so you've got a bit of support. And the fingertips can come to the ground or to your support, whatever you're using. And just check in here with the shoulders, the chest. Make sure you're creating space here rather than constricting. And if this pose doesn't feel right for you, I didn't say this on the other side, but you could always do a reclined version of this, just lying on your back. Okay, and then slowly coming out of the pose, we're going to move our support out the way first And then just roll onto that front hip one more time. So rolling onto the left hip this time. And then swing your right leg all the way over and around to the front. And this time, instead of coming into a cross-legged position, we're going to come into our boat pose. So stoking our inner fire. So bring the thighs towards each other, feet are on the floor. And then just squeeze the thighs together, so nice and tight, and engage in the lower abdominals here. Draw the knees towards the chest, lift the chest towards the thighs, and then reach the hands forwards. Maybe you'll pick your feet off the floor. Really squeeze in, relaxing the shoulders here. Big breaths in. Oof. We can do this for 3, 2, 1. And relax, just cross the ankles and then come back to a seated position. Okay, let's take a big breath in all together. Inhale, sweep the arms up, spread the fingers wide. We're wide awake, ready for the day. Bringing the hands to the heart. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Me again. If you enjoyed that, then please do head over to happyyoga.wales and check out the video library, or come and join me live on Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 7 a.m. UK time for donation-based sunrise stretch. See you soon. Bye.